time go forward, backward, however you want.
If we only have 5 minutes left, that's disappointing.
We can keep going.
I had two funny ideas.
Hit it. Let's go.
Okay, so one of the interesting things about being a guy like me who, my bread and butter, really what I do well is writing. If I do say so myself, if I can say. I can deliver what I said. But I'm also good at thinking, or at least I think I'm good, of thinking of ideas for stuff. And occasionally, like every day, I think of something that I could never sell, and I couldn't do.
But you can.
I heard one the other day. I'm not going to say it, but I heard one after you left the other day.
Oh, did they play it for you?
Well,
because I was thinking
Dan came in and told me about it.
Oh,
we spent a good hour, all of us going, that would, oh my God, that's awesome.
Just a concept that you in your own mind, Camo, that you wanted, that you can pawn off to somebody else.
I think I'm going to do that here.
Or that you can't sell.
I'm not going to, it's your idea to say.
Let's hit it, man.
I had two ideas. And one of them is called. I'm going to do the one people. I don't know if they'll think either of them are good because keep in mind I've only done one of these out loud because they've just been bouncing around my head and I'm so busy with my TV shows and then I got these other scripts and then I believe it or not I'm directing another movie but don't tell. Oh, dosh! And
no, you're a busy guy. We just want two ideas right now.
Okay, so they're not really fully formed, but one of them is called Gifted, and it's for a TV show. And it's a 6-episode season, and it's about a guy from a Montessori school. Who do you like? Who's an actor you like?
Let's throw for TV.
Yeah.
Or for
TV.
For film.
40s, male.
You know what? Let's take that.
Nathan Fillion. It works.
Nathan Fillion,
if you like him.
Yeah.
So Nathan Fillion works at a Montessori school. He's an alcoholic. He has a lot of interesting theories about how to deal with children. His shithead brother, who's a worse version of him, lives with him. But Nathan Fillion's like an intellectual. He's gifted. He's unable to hold a relationship, and he has trouble talking to people his own age because even though he sounds like a smart guy and he seems like a smart guy, he's ultimately extremely immature. He goes home every day, smokes weed, sits alone, plays video games. But then when you ask him, he's this very eloquent, intellectual guy, but he can't make it with women. He can't do anything.
Sounds like a guy, no?
Me?
No, actually, I was thinking about all of us. That's all of our collective egos. Yeah.
So he can't really work at this Montessori school, and he ends up getting into a sort of dumb debate, like a figurative. That thing. Not all men. Mm-hmm. The idea when people can't empathize, when people can't what's the word, abstractly empathize. They can directly empathize, but they go, women are saying men hit on them too much, not me.
Right.
People who are that defensive. Right. He's sort of one of those, but not that. And he gets in this fight at this Montessori school. He gets fired. And he's his whole life centers around being a teacher at this school, and he uses it to flirt with women. He tries to find a teaching job, but teaching jobs are few and far between. So he gets one at this school on the edge of town, like out in the Bronx, and it's not an inner city school, but it's a normal lower middle class school, and he is a first grade teacher. And he decides, this is all in the pilot, he decides that because he's used to teaching gifted children, these children can be gifted too. All people have innate potential. And so why should I treat these children as anything but adults? If they are in here all day, every day, why don't I block up the day? I bring my brother in to teach part of it because I want to go smoke weed, and I'll just leave them in charge, and there's no oversight at this school because there's no education budget. So fuck it. I'm going to treat these kids like adults. So it becomes... Because children are being treated as adults, children these days have iPhones, they're being exposed to stories and ideas that you could never imagine. They're much smarter than they usually are. So, than they have been in the past, or at least much more well-read. They seem smarter, even though ultimately they're children. And so what it becomes is there are 3 other kindergarten classes, but because he's talking to them like they're adults and refuses to acknowledge that they're children, this turns into House of Cards in a kindergarten with the kids slowly manipulating each other. And then the big arc of the first season is one of the kids, he notices, Duncan, is sort of gets better at it and ends up getting him caught for smoking weed and manipulates him, ends up blackmailing him.
Yes.
This is a kindergarten age kid. And so and ends up trapping him, and then he kills his cat. And the end of the first season is a confrontation.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, so the whole first season, there's like a lot of plots that I'd have to think of, and interweaving things with the kids, and like he starts dating one of their parents, and that's totally immoral, but like Duncan uses that too, and Duncan's playing the other kids against him, like Game of Thrones.
Wow, you need a real Gary Coleman for this. You need a real Gary Coleman.
We'll get to that in a second. So, so the end of the first season is Duncan deliberately gets himself held back because our teacher tries to get him expelled and like to psychiatric care, but Duncan manipulates that into getting him held back for another year. And the final season is them sitting outside of the final scene is them sitting outside of the principal's office, and he goes, "You think you're pretty smart, don't you? You're a sociopath." And the kid goes, "What that means?" And he goes, "You don't have compassion, you don't have empathy. You can't feel for other people." The kid goes, "I feel for other people." And he goes, "Yeah, like who?" He goes, "You. I want you to hurt." and he goes, and he looks at him, Nathan Fillion looks at him, he goes, "Does anything matter to you?" And the kid goes, "Yeah. My mom." He goes, "Really?" And he goes, "No. Just me." And first season. And so like, okay, you could never do that show because you would need 12 great child actors.
Yes.
Or you get Andy Serkis to motion capture them. This is like, it's like you managed to do Rise of the Planet of the Apes with little kids.
Children.
Instead of
that's
apes.
the joke.
That is something. That is Netflix, Amazon,
Can
Hulu.
you not kill the cat?
No, I want to kill. That's like that's an eye pop moment.
I'm a cat person, Sasha. You gotta
kill the cat.
gotta
Okay,
kill the
maybe
cat.
it's the class hamster.
All right.
Well,
okay,
I think at the beginning. I think at the beginning.
Don't let her mold your Play-Doh.
Well, I think
I'm the executive here. In this like
Collaboration.
crazy twisted world, I'm with the cigar chomping right now.
mass media is collaboration. That's what the entertainment industry is. Don't let anyone believe otherwise.
Well, so a lot of people don't want a dead cat.
And when you...
we did a test screening.
That's
well,
right.
here's one.
It came back really,
Here's one.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the first season, the class hamster has disappeared. And he's like, it probably just got loose. But then by episode, let's say it's an 8. It's a Netflix 8. By episode 4, we realize that Duncan killed the hamster when he delivers the skull of the hamster to the teacher. And he goes, I found him.
Yes.
And then he leaves. Then, episode 5.
I want you to play Duncan.
Episode 5, his cat, the pet cat, disappears, but we don't know where it is. We don't know where it is.
Okay, I want to write a quick scene then. Okay, so when the kid walks in and but he's got an apple in his hand and he's going to bring it to the teacher, but instead he takes a bite out of the apple and he puts the hamster skull on the desk.
Oh, it's
Boom!
good.
Jeremy
It's good.
spoke in class today, ladies
I love
and gentlemen.
it. Jeremy spoke.
There you go.
I love that scene. It's in. This is what the writers' room
This
is
is
like.
it.
This is the
This
writers'
is the
room.
same thing.